How many of you think of yourself as a leader? Life's lessons from a non-leader who has led. Part 2, personal qualities as well as skills and behaviors. The ideal leader in the NATA must be curious. They should always be looking at everything there is and want to do more. They should be excited to look at things and learn. A good NATA leader is curious both with things they are involved in and things they aren't. For me, I'm always curious about history. I've loved learning about it, then getting to know the leaders who shaped our association. When I meet someone whom I've heard about and respect, I try to learn something about them that might help them lead better. From Pinky Newell to all the other countless leaders from NATA, when I see them, I try to learn something I didn't already know. I'm curious too about how other allied healthcare professional associations work. What makes them tick and what makes them so successful? NATA, when compared to most, if not all, is such a young association. As a formal association, we are barely 65 years old and still are learning how to navigate this world. I wanted to learn why they had PACs with millions of dollars in them, why many, if not a majority, of their practitioners don't even belong to their associations. Involve and Evolve came out of this curiosity. We were losing members who, like other associations, did not see why they should be a member of NATA. I didn't want us to travel that same path, so we had to try something. Even if it didn't work, I was curious. An NATA leader must take initiative. A good leader doesn't sit back and let decisions come to them. They make things happen. Out of curiosity springs initiative in many ways. Every time I've taken on a new volunteer job, no matter how small or menial, I've always gone into that job with a list of things I thought would benefit from change. From as big as setting up a PAC as president, to as small as starting an awards program in Tennessee. A good leader is willing to lead. Easier said than done. The least effective AD I ever worked for was someone who just couldn't make a decision, so everything that needed to be done just floundered somewhere between taking action or doing nothing. In the end, even the status quo wasn't effective, and the department was set back by paralysis by analysis. Like I tell our patients in rehab, it's trial and error. We will inevitably make errors, too aggressive with a session or exercise, but we will never make a big error. We take the initiative to advance their recovery, but never such a great move that we endanger progressing to a good outcome. A good leader has to have a passion for the profession. Whatever you do, you have to give it the best you have while you're doing it. You have to have a passion for athletic training in NATA and believe that what we do is great and that we do make a difference. You also have to believe by your passion that we aren't yet where we need to be and care enough to try to help make it happen. A good leader must have respect for others. No matter how or who you deal with as a leader and a professional, you must respect them. You will encounter people who will push every one of your get even buttons, but you can't give in to that by showing them a lack of respect. You have to listen and show them that you respect them even if you don't agree with what they're saying or doing. Don't be someone who has a reputation for being disrespectful to those you come in contact with. There is no 6 degrees of separation in athletic training. If you haven't already learned it, 2 degrees is probably as far as it goes. What you do today or how you treat someone today will be spread across the country tomorrow if you aren't careful. Respect others and they will respect you, meaning you can have thoughtful discussions on issues in which the issue is at the center, not the thought of how can I get back at him or her to hurt them. You should align your actions with your words. Say what you mean and mean what you say. If you take a stand on what you believe should be done, make sure you live that plan. You can't fool people. Because of this, Don't talk about a plan until you believe in that plan. As Secretary-Treasurer of CETA, I had long considered how best to take care of the Treasury and make sure it would last after my term ended. I put a lot of thought into it and studied what I could about handling money while I handled my fiduciary responsibility to the membership that was very in tune and involved. After a great deal of thought and reflection, I decided we needed to start investing the funds that were above our annual expenses. I came to believe that was what we needed to do, action, but made sure what I said, words, would support my recommendations. I used the words I said about investing in a conservative way, safeguarding the money invested with the desire to have the money work for the members, and we did it. When someone approaches me with a question or criticism, I never answer until I know how I truly feel. If I have to, I put them off and promise an answer in the future. I try to never say something I don't believe, knowing that if my actions do not match my words, my future words will lose all value. Make sure you know what you believe before you say anything. A leader obtains relevant committee issue experiences. You can't begin as an ATA president, even if that is a goal. You'll have to put what you learn in this class into action, beginning with a small bite of the apple. Get experience on a state committee, or volunteer locally to serve in a leadership capacity. For example, where I live, we have the Mountain Athletic Trainers Association. It's a group of athletic trainers in East Tennessee from around Knoxville East. They are a young group and are always needing volunteer leaders to step up. Starting in a job at one of these levels will help you practice your leadership skills, learning what works for you and what doesn't. It will also help you learn the little and big issues, helping you to begin to form a vision for athletic training that you can put in play on the micro level, the committee, as well as prepare you to attack these issues on the macro level, national or internationally. A really hard lesson is to practice constructive confrontation. How you do it will be your own way, but it's a skill you have to survive. You can't burn bridges with destructive confrontation. Once burned, let me assure you, they can never be rebuilt. What works for me is the following line. When someone shows anger and is confrontational to me, and believe me, it has and will happen, before I tell them how my opinion differs for them, I say, I'm sorry you feel that way, but I say it sincerely because my words match my actions. And I am sorry that they feel that way, but I always have my say. It is non-threatening. It shows that I value their opinion even if I don't agree. In most cases, the answer to an action that needs to be taken is somewhere between what I believe and what they believe. So listen and respond with sincerity, even as you offer how your opinion is different from theirs. I have found my little, I am sorry, but statement disarms the person I'm talking with because I acknowledge how they feel and show them I listen to them. I think it's important for a leader to cultivate diversity. A good leader tries to involve a broad spectrum of the members in leadership opportunities. Too many people still believe that to be a leader you have to be a good old boy. I think everyone involved in leadership becomes a good old boy. And as a leader, it's my job to make that group as large as it can be until all of us are a good old boy. When I say diversity in this regard, I think it involves every facet of our membership. It, of course, includes what we all think of when we hear the word, different races, an area where we need to broaden and attract more members of different races. It also involves gender. Now more than 50% of NATA members are women, and those who want to lead should be recruited to lead. It also involves work settings. It's in which not only professional, collegiate, and high school athletic trainers are involved in all geographic regions, clinics, businesses, the military, performing arts, and on and on. We are such contributors to today's healthcare environment. The many places we work continues to expand, and wherever those jobs are, the practitioners should feel like they are welcomed in the leadership pool. My actions have matched my words on this issue. As chairman of Honors and Awards Committee, I've tried to make sure each of the committees is representative of our membership, involving diversity in ethnicity, gender, work settings, districts, and those who are young professionals. By doing this, it's my hope that every person nominated for an award will have someone who can speak to the complex and numerous areas that would make them suitable for that award. It's important for a leader to be able to negotiate and mediate. To reach a conclusion on any issue, big or small, negotiations and the ability to mediate the differing opinions is critical of a leader to foster progress. You'll need to learn how to negotiate with all sides of an issue by showing you're willing to listen and compromise. In much of today's society, negotiating and mediation are too often seen as weaknesses. Well, they aren't, especially if you want to make progress on an issue. It's better to get some of your ideas adopted than to win an argument and get nothing done. Negotiation skills are critical to be an effective leader. So is mediating between two opinions that are different but in most cases are closer than either side believes. You will need to see both sides, respect them both, and then bring them together somehow, some way, with a conclusion that gives them a bite of the apple, even if it doesn't give them the entire apple. It will be your style and your way. There is no answer to how to do it. The final skill and behavior I want to discuss is that you will need to act thoughtfully and decisively. As the leader, decisions will be your job. And remember, you wanted this job. When you make a decision, never believe that just because you know it's the right decision, that everyone will agree with you. Because of this, you first must be thoughtful to all those the decision will affect, but be decisive in that decision. A weak-kneed decision is worse than no action at all. You have to believe what you do strongly enough that you're willing to make the decision, defend it, and move on to the next issue. You have to respect everyone, but fear no one. You have to have an enthusiasm for success in that decision, not a fear of failure. If you fear failure, you will have failure. If you know it will succeed, it will succeed. Maybe not as gloriously as you imagine, but even a poor decision most often leads to a better decision. Remember, small errors, not large ones.